Hi, I'm John Scott, and I'm in this very cool house in Sonoma today. And we're going to be speaking with Patty Moore, the CEO of Moore Recycling, a company that helps industry and businesses make good decisions about how they get rid of stuff. Patty could be here 1 second, and the next minute, fully and completely recycled. Homegrown CEO is next. Hi, Patty Moore. Thanks for giving me your couch.
You're very welcome.
Well, I'm not going to take it with me, but I'm going to sit here with you for a minute if that's okay.
That's great.
Moore Recycling has been in business since 1989.
Correct.
So you've done pretty well since it's 2011. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know, tell us about what you do.
It's kind of hard to describe what we do. We are a consulting firm, and we also do business management. We consult on recycling, and our specialty is plastic recycling. Mm-hmm. So it's a very unique little niche that we fill. We are advocates of plastic recycling. We work on technical issues, advocacy, and really trying to see what the next step is that needs to happen with plastic recycling.
You help companies figure out how to dispose properly of the plastics they generate.
Well, we do that, but we work mostly with industry groups. Mm-hmm. We do some work directly with individual companies, but most of our work has been with industry groups because we are very research oriented. Mm-hmm. And we want to start developing the tools and the information needed to expand plastic recycling. In my opinion, every piece of plastic that is generated, that is stopped being useful, should be recycled.
How did you come to start the company?
Well, I started actually in the East Coast. I was working at a 6-town cooperative solid waste facility. They called it the dump. Mm-hmm. And it had a very aggressive recycling program. And it was one of the very early aggressive recycling programs. And it was a drop-off program because most of New England, that's the way it is, rural New England, people bring their trash to the dump. And what happened was the garbage barge. I don't know if you remember the garbage barge. It traveled around the East Coast for months and it couldn't find a home. Nobody wanted the garbage in the garbage barge. And it created a dynamic where people suddenly started talking about trash. Before that, it was not polite conversation. And after that, you could go to a cocktail party and talk about garbage. So people got interested in the topic and they started looking at it and what can we do about it? And I was fortunate to be in a position where I had data and information about what you could do to divert materials. The program that I was involved with in Wilton, New Hampshire, mm-hmm. had a recycling rate of over 50%. It was very aggressive, and I had documented it and written about it. And
so this is the mid '80s, right?
This was the early '80s, yeah. And I realized that when I started getting all the calls from engineering firms saying, could you please give me data about your program? And I'm thinking to myself, I'm a public employee, I'm not making anything. These guys are probably making a lot more money than me. And that's when I decided to go back to school and now it's all come to this. Yeah, and then here we are. Mm-hmm. I went back to school and then brilliantly decided to start my company right as I was finishing up my master's degree.
Well, that seems like the best time to do it.
I guess so. I did get paid to do my master's degree, so that's the good news.
Yes, you did.
My master's final project, I'm sorry.
If someone wants to start their own business, in good economic times or bad, there's never a good time to start. You need to start it when you want to.
Right.
What advice would you give to someone, knowing what you've learned along the way as an entrepreneur, and you have employees and you have to pay bills and all those things, what advice could you give to someone that wants to do that?
Well, I started out small. It was just myself and 2 partners. Mm-hmm. And I was also very fortunate to start with a good base. It started in my house. I got a second mortgage and we were able to pay off the loan to ourselves essentially within a few months. And we've been lucky to be operating pretty much in the black since then. I'm a very fiscally conservative person, and I have a business partner who's even more fiscally conservative. So we built it step by step, starting small and slowly growing. And in fact, we really didn't want to get as big as we are now. I always wanted to be small. One of the experiences I had before I started my company was to work for another firm that grew very quickly. And I saw all the mistakes that were made and the issues and problems they had with that very quick growth. So they grew very quickly and then they ended up collapsing because they couldn't sustain it. So I wanted to keep the company small, and we still are. I know. I realize that 15 people is small, but it's grown organically over time as my existing clients wanted more services that I just couldn't give them, and I felt it was really important to keep our base happy and keep the existing clients happy.
So before we started recording, she said she was going to be shy, and then you just ask her a couple questions. She's off to the races, which is perfect. I love doing this series because I love the enthusiasm of the people who head these enterprises. That's exactly why we do this. And thank you for telling us a little bit about you. It was nice to meet you.
You're very welcome. You're right. I do have some passion about what I do.
Right? She has passion. That's what this series is all about. And there'll be another passionate person that you're going to meet next time around on Homegrown CEO. From KCBS, All News 740 and FM 1069 and CBS Interactive, she's Patty. I'm John. See you next time on Homegrown CEO. See? John wasn't right? Yeah. She gets it.